Good evening, everyone. This is Bremster, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle called Genetics by Angelo. This is a puzzle that was recommended to me by Zegrez. And when Zegrez stands up and says I should take a look at something, I'm going to listen. I'm not always going to do it on the channel, but I'm going to pay some attention to the puzzle. Before I get to the puzzle, today I'm going to bring you some details about what's going to happen tomorrow so that people can prepare and hopefully be a bit excited for it. So over the last 3 weeks, and I've hinted to this a few times, the Skunkworks and myself have been working very hard on a new puzzle pack, similar to what we did with March of the Quads. And this pack we are calling Polarizing Sudoku, which is probably inappropriate or inaccurately named, but heck, we're running with it anyway. Polarizing Sudoku is a pack which is mostly based around the odd-even constraint and puzzles that play with parity. And we've got 50 puzzles in the pack for you. So there are, we're using the same difficulty rankings as we used in March of the Quad. So there are walks in the park, which we think are puzzles that solvers of even beginning skill level should be able to do. They might find them challenging, but even newer solvers should be able to struggle through some of the walks in the park. We've got the scenic hikes, which will be puzzles that more experienced solvers should be able to find interesting. I mean, the walks in the park are interesting too. We've made sure of that. But the scenic hikes should be sort of what I normally try and do in something like one of my 45-minute videos. They'll be a little bit more challenging, require a little bit more logic exploration, may not be as obvious how you break into them or how to progress through some of the tricky steps, but they shouldn't be impossible for most solvers. And then there are the treks into the wilderness where it's like get your boots on and be prepared to sort of journey out into the logical wilds. Some of those puzzles will require you to be quite either an experienced solver or to spend some time really trying to figure out what's going on. None of the puzzles should require any advanced Sudoku tricks, like we've not required you to understand what an exocet is, or you know, fin skyscrapers, if that's a thing, or anything like that. It's all about the logic of the constraints that we've used, but you still may need to, you know, do a lot of digging to get through the tricks of the wilderness. Do you dig on it? Let's not go into mixing my metaphors. So the pack is coming out. The setters that have been tomorrow, I'll post links and everything to it tomorrow. It will be a free post on my Patreon. You do not need to be a Patreon supporter of mine to be able to access it. I will release it on my Patreon, but anyone will be able to access it. The setters that are involved in the pack, there's myself. I've created a few puzzles for it. Jeremy Dover, Mavericks JD, Polando, Ramplana, Riffclown, Sotek, Virtual, Xeon Risk, and Zegrez have all contributed puzzles to the pack. And yeah, you're in for a treat with some of them. Some of those puzzles are exceptional. And some of them are by me. Anyway, I'm actually pretty proud of some of them myself. So yeah, hopefully that'll be something for you to look forward to. I'll release more details tomorrow on how you can submit answers if you wish to. And I have not even looked at lining up a prize. I've been too busy trying to get the pack ready. That was a really long intro, but I wanted to provide the information. Let's get on to this puzzle, because this one's going to require some explanation as well. I've read through the rules, and oh boy, is this going to be interesting. So, Genetics by Angelo. So this puzzle is actually a little bit weird. I've never seen a rule set like it before, and it's going to be an interesting exploration. So you look at this and you wonder, how the heck is this going to work? And the way this is going to work is these lines are like a family tree, and I'll read through the rules as it's provided and we'll try and go from there. So normal Sudoku rules apply in every box, in every row. Every box, in every row, and in every column. My mouse played up for a second there. The digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. And then we've got the genetics, which is each digit has 2 properties. Now, I'm assuming this is each digit on the lines, but yeah. The first property is being odd, or each digit in the grid will have these 2 properties. Each digit will either be odd or even. This is true. And each digit will either be low, medium, or high. Low being 1, 2, 3, medium 4, 5, 6, or high 7, 8, 9. Each cell that is directly connected to two lines in the row above is considered a child of those two cells. So if we use this 3 as an example, this 3 is a child of those two cells because it's directly connected to those two cells by these lines. And so these two cells are that child's parents. Each child can be formed by taking a property of one parent and taking the property of the other, and taking the other property of the other parent. So, for example, I think there are some clarifying examples which I haven't put above me, but are in the puzzle description and will be in the description below. Some clarifying examples. Parents with values of 2 and 5. So let's do this here. So if the parents are 2 and 5, this is the examples in the rules, can have a 6 as a child. And that's because the 6 would be inheriting even from the 2 and mid from the 5. Parents with values of 1 and 5 can have 1 as a child. Now, not here, but we're talking about the example, because it would be inheriting low from the 1 and 5 and odd from the 5. Now, there's another one here, which is parents with values 3 and 8, so let's put 3 and 8 in here. These are just the examples that are provided in the rules. Could have 2 children with the values of 7 and 9. So these could both be children. So it would be getting high from the 8 and odd from the 3, but it could also have 2 children with the values 2 and 7. Is what it says in the example. So this one is the same because it would be getting odd from the 3 and high from the 8, but this one would be getting low from the 3 and even from the 8. So as long as they get one property from each parent, they're okay. With that, this puzzle should be solvable. At nearly 8 minutes, this is one of my longest intros ever, so I'll try and remember to put a chapter break or something in. Sorry, these rules are long, or they're not long, but I think they needed to be go over, and I did want to mention the pack. Sorry, everyone. Let's give this a shot. So, how do you even start this puzzle? How do you even start this puzzle? So, what can be the parents of 4 and 9? Surely nearly anything. Because they could... Okay, so the parents of 4 could be either mid, but they couldn't be 4 again, so they could be 5 or 6, or they could be even, and they couldn't be 4, so they'd be 2 or 8. So you've got, if they're mid, they're 5 or 6, and if they're even, they're 2, 6, or 8. So they're the only possibilities for the 4. But you've then got to, hang on, they're the only possibilities for the 4. Is that, oh, but you've also got to include the parents for the 9. But, and the only possible parents for the 9 have to share a parent with the 4. Hang on, could anything else be a parent of the 4? They have to be either even or mid, and they're the only even or mid digits, because you cannot use the same mid digit. And the parents for the 9, it has to either be odd or high. So 2 doesn't work and 6 doesn't work. This has to be a 5-8 pair. That's really clever. Do I want to colour these? Not sure. Now, this needs to have... Can 8 ever have 3 as a parent? Because it couldn't get any trait. 8 is not odd and 8 is not low. So 8 can never have 3 as a parent. And this has got this weird... So this needs to have those 2 as a parent. And 8 can never have 3 as a parent. That is the 5. That is the 8. Okay. So can I continue this? Maybe here? Or... Actually, no. Here. Because 5 needs to have a parent here. Actually, it's got to... 5 cannot be getting... These 2 cells here are the parent of the 5. But this is getting odd from here. So it has to get mid from here. So this has to be a 6. Now these two have to be the parents of the 8. One of them has to be 2 because it has to get even from one of them. So this is a 2-7 pair. There's no other possibility because it has to get even from one of them and high from the other, and the other evens and high digits are all used. So this is 1 and 3. These are both odd. So this has to be odd. And low or high. Well, it can't be a low odd. Because if it's a low odd, so if it gets odd from here, hang on, if it gets odd from here, it would have to get low from here, and it can't do it because it'd have to be 1, 3, and there's a 1, 3 pair looking at it. So it gets odd from here and high from here. So it has to be a high, so this is a 7 or a 9. This has got 3 6s parents. So if it's an odd medium, it can't be an odd medium. There's only one odd medium, which is 5. So it can't be odd medium, so it has to be a low even. This is a 2. This is really clever. I say that almost every puzzle, don't I? So what about this? We don't know what that is. As we're getting further away from these given digits, this has to be even. Because if this is inheriting mid, it would have to be 4, 5, or 6, and it can't be. This has to be even. So this is 2 or 8 because 4 and 6 are gone. So this is inheriting even from here. So this would have to either be low or high. So if it's low, it can only be 1, and if it's high, it can only be 7 or 8. So now I've got what the child of the 2 is. Can 7 ever be a child? So 8 could be an even. 7 can never be a child of a 2 because it doesn't get either even or low. So this is not 7. So now do I want to look at that? If this is low, then this would have to be odd. And that leaves a lot of options. That leaves 5, 7, and 9. No, it doesn't leave 5. It leaves 7 and 9. So if this is a 1, it's getting low from the 2. So this would have to be high. No, this would have to be odd. And it couldn't be 1, 3, or 5. So this would be 7 or 9. And if this is 8, it's getting even from the 2. So this would have to be high, and it would have to be 7, 9. How do you design that? How do you design it that no matter what this is, that's the same pair? Sorry, that's just incredible to me. So this is a child of 2 and 7, 9. So if this is even, it's either 6 or 8. No, if this is even and this is high, this is an 8. And if this is low and this is odd, it's 1 or 3, and it can't be 3. I've now got a 1, 8 pair. How do you come up with this? And then how do you make it work? There's no other possibility. If this is low and odd, you can't use 3, so it's 1. And if it's even and high, the only possibility is 8. It gives me a 1, 8 pair, which makes this a 3 and this a 1. So now I've got a child of 3 and 9, which doesn't change that. No, it doesn't change that at all. Because it's either an odd high. No, it's an odd high. It has to be an odd high. Because that's right, I determined that before. That is just bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. So, what? Where do I look next? Here or here? What can be the parents of the 6? So this has to be even. This has to be even because it can't be mid. This needs an even and a mid parent. No, yeah, this has to have an even and a mid parent. And I can't put the mid parent there. So this has to be 2 or 8. So this has to be mid. So this is 4, 5, or 6. How do you do? So these are now 1, 3, 7, 9. How do you come up with this? So this is a parent of 2 or 8. So this will be getting... So this has to be even. Actually, now I'm getting into the realms of anything. This is 2, 4, or 6. I'm not sure if I... So the reason is this has to get its low or its high from here. So it has to get its even from here. And it can't be 8. Now this has no known parents. This is married into the family tree. I don't want to talk about the incestuous nature of what's happening in here. This could be either high or low. Could this be high or low? That's even. That's even. So this has to be... This has to be giving high or low. Wait a minute. This has to be giving high or low. Actually, I am going to colour because I think I'm going to need it. Because this can only continue by being high-low. So this is going to either be high or low. So this could... If this continues low... If this is low and this goes low, this would be high. Oh, maybe it could still be... I was wondering if that meant that this couldn't go parity... This couldn't go high, high or low, low. So could this go like 3, 1, 2? And this be odd? I'm not sure. This has to be odd now, though. Sure, yeah, because this is providing high or low. This absolutely has to be odd because this is not providing parity to this. This can't be 4 or 6 either. Because if this is 4 or 6, it would be providing the wrong parity and there's no 4, 5, or 6 in here. So 4, 5, and 6 is limited to there. No, 4 and 6 is limited to there. I'm only talking about evens. And 4 and 6 can never be a child of a 7 or a 9. Because they share neither... They don't share the... They're not... They don't inherit high or they don't inherit high. This is a 4-6 pair. How do you come up with this? How do I solve this? So this... The thing is, this could still be 2. And either of those could be 8. So I can't put a 2 there, but I could put 2 in either of those. So 2 is in one of those, 8 is in one of those. 5 is in one of those. But 5 could be in either of those because it could be the parent of odd or the child of odd. And then it could be the parent of mid. So do I want to look at what's missing from here? That's a lot of digits. So what can be the parents of 7 and 9? They have to be odd or high. So 1, whoops, 1, they can't be 3, 5 can't be 7, 9, or 8. So 1, 5, 8, 9 is all that's possible in here. 1, 5, 8, 9 is all that, and I can't use 1 or 8. This has to be 5, 9. So this is 7, which puts 7 down here. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we know the order. This is 6 and this is 4. So that's odd. These are even. So now we've got these down to triples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 3, 6, 9. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 4, 8. So what of this works? So 2 can be the child of 3, 6. So if you've got 3, 6, okay, let's look at it this way. If you've got 3, 6, what children could you have? You could have 2, you could have 5, you couldn't have 7. If you had 3, 9, you can't make the children out of these digits because you'd need a low, and the other one is odd and you can't do it. So the low you would need would be odd and you couldn't do it. If you did 6, 9, you would need, there's no evens because you've got even and high and you can't do the even high down here. This has to be 3, 6. And that means you don't have 7 as a child. This is 2, 5. So this is the 7, this is the 9. This is crazy. Now this has to be a child of 2 and 7 and 1, 4 or 8. That's anything though, isn't it? Is this more restricted? So if this is the low parent, it's 1. And if it's the odd parent, it's 1, 5, 7, or 9. So it's got to be odd no matter what. And if this is the low parent, it's 1 or 2 or 3. Ugh. And if it's the odd parent, it's 1, 3, 5, or 9. That's not helpful. So I'm curious about that thing I was talking about before. If this is 2, this is 1 or 3. And this becomes odd, which we know. Now, if this is 1 or 3, what happens if that's the other one? So 2, 1, 3. This would have to be another odd. This is 8. These would be 7 and 9. So we'd be going high, high. This would become odd. So we'd have odd, 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 odd. And I don't see a problem with that. Is it Sudoku I'm missing? So, is there anything they can't be? So this can't be... Hang on. What can this be? This has to be even or mid, doesn't it? This has to be even or mid. Both of these do. So if it, but that one's wide open. But if this is even or mid, it's 2, 8, or 5. But that's still, and it can't be 2. Why did I say it can't be 2? Because 2 can't be a child of 7 or 9. So this is 5 or 8. So if this is 8, this has got to be even. This is 5. This has got to be mid. Five can be in any of those 3 as far as I can see. Oh, what am I missing? This was beautiful, flowing beautifully, and I've just hit a dead spell. If this is 8, this is even. This then inherits even, so this would have to be mid. There's no problem there that I can see. This has to inherit high or low. So this is the same high-low. This is the same high-low. So say this is 3, 2. This would be 8. Hang on, these can't all be this. Oh no, they can be the same high-low as long as they're low. But if this goes 8, 7, then this has to change. But it doesn't have to up here. But if this is 2, 3, it could go 1. And then this could be 8, 7, 9. I can't put 7 and 9 down here. So 1, 3, 5, 7. This has... So that has to be odd low. So it just can't be 4 or 6. Hang on, that can't be 4 or 6. That can't be 4 or 6. They're the two things it cannot be. So 4 or 6 in this column has to go in those 3 cells. So one of 4 and 6 is in here. So if I put 4, 6 here, this could still be 5. Hang on. Oh no, this is getting even from there. This has to get mid from here. So it still could be 4, 5, or 6. And then this is getting its... See, when I go out to these unrestricted parents, there's so many options. If that is 8, that is 8. Because it has to get its high-low from there. Which makes that 1. And that kind of just runs right. If that's 2, that's 1. And that's 8. And that still just kind of runs dry. This is 2, this is 1 or 3, that's 1. This is 8, this has to be 7 or 9. Hang on. This is a child of those two. This is a child of those two. So if this is 4, this can't be a parent of a 4 because it's neither mid or even. This cannot be the parent of a 4 and it can't be the parent of a 6. This is a 5. That is absolutely a 5. There is no other thing that could be, which put... By Sudoku, this is a 5. Which means this is an 8 and this is a 2. That cell, I missed that cell for way too long. I'm sorry, everyone. Now, 2 means this has to inherit its... So this has to inherit its highness. Hello, Your Highness. From this, because it's getting odd from there. So this is 7 or 9. But this cannot be even. So this has to inherit lowness. So this is 1 or 3. So these cannot be the same. Now this is getting mid from there. There's no 2 there, which I've got from that now, so that's useful. Well, that makes this 7 and this 2. So this is odd and this is even, trying to use my keyboard correctly. So now this has to be 1 or 3 to complete the column, which makes it odd. Now this is still wide open, I think. Now this is now getting mid from this, so this now must be even. There's no other option, but it could be 4, 6, or 8. Cannot be 2. So this is 8. One parent is even, the other one must be high. So this is 1. So this is even and this is odd. This 8 makes this a 2. It's getting even from here, so it must get low from here. I've now got a 1, 3 pair in the box. This becomes the 7, 9. Doesn't really matter the order of these parents. These ones, it's getting odd from there and mid from there. This one is getting even from there and low from there. So these are all sorted however they go. But what can this be? This cannot be low anymore because its low parent can't be here because I can't use 1, 2, or 3. This must be even. So this is 4, 6, or 8. But it's even no matter what. And this must be low, which means it must be 1 or 3. Which still makes it odd. This is crazy. I've got to put a 7 or a 9 in here. So 1 or 3 is a parent of this. So 4 cannot get either mid or even from it. Neither can 8. This has to be a 1, which makes this a 3. And again, looking through the genetics of this, 4 cannot have 1 or 3 as a parent because it is neither mid nor odd, and 8 is the same. It's neither low or odd. So 1 is the only thing that is either low or odd, and that forces the parent to be different because you cannot have your own twin as a son. Or you can if you're on the diagonal. If you're a bit slanted, you can have your own twin as a son or a daughter. I shouldn't do metaphors on this puzzle. It is a bad thing to attempt. Cannot put 2, 3, or 5 in there anymore. Or 1. That's a 9. Well, that's a hidden... Let's not talk about hidden singles when we're talking about genetics. That might get uncomfortable. This is now a 5 and a 9, both of which are odd. I could have coloured those earlier. There's no 1 in those anymore. That's a 4 and an 8. I've got 5 odds down here. This could still be a 5? Possibly. But this is now lots of options still. Because I've still got to put 4, 6, 8, 7, 9 there. But this has to be a parent of a 3, which means it's either low or odd. And it can't be low because 1, 2, and 3 are not available. So it's got to be odd, and I can't use 1, 3, 5. This is the 7, 9. So now I've got the 7, 9 pair. This is 4, 6, 8 and becomes even, which means it has to be the 8 because it has to be the parent of a high digit. This is crazy good. It took a long time to find that. This now is inheriting high from that, so it has to inherit odd from that, which means it's the 5. It's the final odd. These are all even. This is the even parent of a 3. It's getting odd from there, so it has to get low from there. This is a 2. So these are 4, 6, and 8. Now, this has to get mid from here because it's getting odd from there, so this cannot be the 8. Now, this is... And it couldn't have been the 8 anyway, so I just completely wasted that really cool logic. Now, oh, this is an 8 because of the 4, 6 pair. So this is not an 8. And all of this is just going to resolve. This could be anything. So however this resolves by Sudoku is fine. However this resolves by Sudoku is fine. I think all the genetics that we've got in this is now all good. So let's look for some Sudoku to get me out of a bind. 8 can go in either of those two. 9 is in one of those 3. That's not that great for me. I need some better Sudoku than this. There's no 5 there. Hang on a minute. This is getting odd from here. This has to be the 1. So it puts 1 down here. That's not helpful. Okay, what have we got missing in this row? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8 have to go in here. But only one of those can be a parent of a 1, surely. It's getting low or odd from there. It's getting low from here, so this has to be odd. So it can't be 4, 6, 8. This is the 7. I can take 7 out of both of those. These are now... This is odd. And these are both even. No, even. Need to be in the right mode for that. This is a 4, 6... This is an 8. It's a 4, 6... Wow. This is an 8. So it must have a high parent. So there must be a 7 in there, which makes that a 9. Oh my God. Which makes that a 9, which makes that a 7. So there must be a 7 in there and an even. And that can't be even because it sees 2, 4, 6, and 8. So that is even. And that is a 7, which is odd. That is marvelous. This is 4 or 6 because it sees 2 or 8, and now I've got a 4, 6 pair in the row. 8 has to go into one of those 2 because 8 has to go in one of those. This is just stunning. How do you do this? I'm just floored. So now this 8 is putting an 8 right there because it's knocked the 8 out. 1 is in one of those 3. Is there better I can do than that? So the parents of an 8, it must have an even parent, which seems okay, and it must have a high parent. It cannot have a high parent there because 7... let's put the even mark in. But it cannot have a high parent there because 7, 8, and 9 are in the column. So this is the even parent, and this is the 7 or the 9. And it's not 7 because it's C7. So this is even, and it's not 8. So it's 2, 4, or 6. Wow. So what are these digits? So we need 3 and we need 2, 4, and 6. So this can't be 4 or 6. So this is a 2 or a 3. Can 3 be the child of an 8? Because it wouldn't be inheriting even. It wouldn't be inheriting high. This is the 2. Now the only place for a 3 in the column is there. This is even. This is odd. Oh my Lord. This is incredible. So this is inheriting even. So this has to be low. So it has to be 1 or 3, which makes it odd no matter what. Just the 3 makes this 1, which makes this 3, which makes this 1, which makes this 3. Oh my Lord. So 1 now is in one of those 2 cells. I'm just flabbergasted as to where to look. This is a triple, so let's put it in. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 5, and 8. And I can't put a 5 in either of those, so that's the 5. Hello, oddness. And this is a 1, 8 pair. So this cannot be a 1 because if it's a 1, it would need a low parent, and 1, 2, and 3 would be used. That is an 8, which makes it even. This is the 1. The 8 resolves this 4 and this 8. I should have marked those as even ages ago. The 4 makes this 6, which makes this 4, which makes this 6, which makes this 4, which makes this 6. This is now 4, which makes this 6, which makes this 4, which makes this 6. This 1 is odd. This is now 1. And I need to put a 4. Actually, I know where the 4 is. The 4 is there. And this has to be a 9. And 4 and 9 are valid parents of the 8. Wow. The 6 makes this 3 and 6. So that is odd and that is even. The 2, 5 is still not resolved. What are these two digits? 1, 2, and 6. They're both even and they're resolved. That's the 6. That's the 2. These are 1, 3, and 5, which means that they are odd, whichever way they come out. This is not a 1. This is not a 3. So this is 1, 4, and 7. And the order is known. That's the 7 and that's the 4. So that is odd. That is even. This is just incredible. And yeah, that's not resolved by genetics. In fact, I think the genetics are now all done. So I'm just down to Sudoku. 1, 2, and 5, I think that is 1, 2, yes, 1, 2, and 5. That can't be a 1. That can be any of them. Okay, oops. 1, 3, and 7. That's not 1 or a 7. That is a 3. That is not a 3. Well, that makes that a... Whoops, that makes that a 1, that a 5, that a 3. 3 means that's a 7. These are both odd. The 5 makes that a 2, which makes that a 1, which makes that a 5, which makes that a 2. These are both even. These are both odd. These are both odd to finish it off, and I am missing a 5 and a 9, and we go 5 and we go 9, and that finishes Genetics by Angelo. That puzzle was incredible. I'm pretty certain I've been told that this has been posted to Logic Masters Germany. I am going to find the link to this and post it in the description below. I will not promise that there is a puzzle in polarizing Sudoku that is this good. There are some amazing puzzles in polarizing Sudoku, like some of the best work I've seen from the creators in there. But this is great. Holy cow. Thank you for Zegrez for recommending it. Thank you to Angelo for creating this puzzle. Wow. Just wow. I'm speechless. So rather than try and ramble again, I'm just gonna say thank you everyone for watching. I'm gonna try and hunt out more puzzles of this caliber for you, and good luck with your solving. Bye.